What's up, everybody?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Plant Code podcast. It's James's podcast today. He wants to take over.
Oh.
No, he doesn't. For once, he doesn't want to be the centre of attention.
All right,
second time, actually. Thank you very much. Second time.
And okay, so James, welcome. Vegan activist, slam poetry, MC. You're looking for some live performances later on?
Yes.
Okay. Director of the documentary Planet Vegan. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having me.
And also, we're lucky to have Seb, animal liberation activist, university speaker, inspiration. I love university speaker.
Sounds very
It makes you sound like an item, like literally put you on the wall and just like project sound.
University speaker.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh.
I like it. You should use it. So actually, we're in Bali. Never thought that we'd be sitting here around this table. Why are we in Bali, Seb?
Well, I've been based here for the past couple of months now, so convinced James to do the same.
He literally forced me to move out here. Yeah. By threat of death.
So 2020 coming. No, it's not. 2019 coming to an end. I'm a year ahead of myself already.
That's okay.
Living in the future. So James, what have you been up to this year?
Whew, man, it's been crazy. So what have I been up to? I guess it's interesting. I almost started the year in Bali with this guy. Again, almost. I was in January. I was in Bali on the way out to a tour with the Save Movement, who's now Animal Save Movement. A lot of things have clearly happened. And we were there in Australia. So we went to Australia for 2.5 months.
Yeah.
2.5 months, and we went to 12 different cities or something like that. It was really, really intense. Right before that, we were actually in a slaughterhouse in Bali doing some filming, which is a great way to kick off a tour. Make sure you're nice and in good mental health before the tour. And yeah, so we did this tour, and it was a really good tour, very productive, but intense, super intense. And then after that, went back, like during that tour is when I started the crowdfunding campaign for Planet Vegan. We changed the name to Planet Vegan, this whole thing. I started working with this editor who started putting things together a lot. And then it was just like go time. Like after the tour, went back to Germany, and just really, really started smashing out work with the editing team and the sound composer and animator and all this stuff, and just like getting our first episode.
What was the name before Planet Vegan?
Vegan Round the World, the series.
Good
Don't.
I think you did a good move change.
Dude, great move change.
Whenever-
It literally couldn't even fit, I know.
Whenever you wanted to tag him on an Instagram story, series, the S would come on the next line, and there's no way like you could make it small.
There was one font you could use that would let it go on one thing. But I also separated the Planet Vegan doc Instagram from my own, so now I have a personal in that one. So
Yeah.
that was a good move.
Yeah, that wasn't catchy.
Yeah. No.
He just used all the followers he had for the documentary to make it his own, and then he started a new one.
Yeah.
That's a great way to use social media.
Great way to use social media.
Yeah.
So I'm going to build up my next platform next as a sanctuary and just exploit that to get myself more followers.
Smart. I like the way how you own to that. And Seb, I've been following a lot of your stories, and I've seen a lot of you on a train in 2019.
Yeah.
You've practically been living on trains around Europe.
Yeah. I actually, we went to Australia together, did the activism there.
Not by train.
Not by train.
They wouldn't let us. They said it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Excuses.
Oh.
And then after that, I went to Europe and gave talks in universities and schools.
How many talks?
33, and then
That was my question.
Oh, sorry.
he just takes over your thing. I
No,
swear.
that's good.
We do the vegan news together. Sometimes he just
Yeah.
makes it his show.
By the way,
Not
if you haven't watched Vegan News, I'll put links to Seb's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
When did you start Vegan News, Seb?
Just in September.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So basically, I finished the talks, the university and school talks, and then I took. Actually, no, I didn't take a break. I went to Ireland.
Oh,
And
that's
there was
right.
like
I forgot to mention Ireland.
2 to 3 weeks in Ireland, really intense. And then I took 1 month off, and then I came here. So ever since I'm here, I've been doing the vegan news and preparing the talks for next year.
Right.
Yeah.
Was it the same talk you were giving every time in the university?
Yes, it's like it gets tiring.
Yeah.
It's weird because you obviously like the subject means a lot, but then when you give, like in Portugal the first week there was 12 talks in 5 days. The 12th talk that I gave, it was just like my body's doing the talk, and in my mind I'm having other thoughts, like I'm thinking about other things, I'm having conversation by myself, and my mouth just doesn't stop because I know everything by heart.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like I knew you can like learn it by heart after a few times, but then when you realize how like robotic you can be,
Wow.
that's really.
So you could just trigger that talk. if someone says something, would it just start rolling and you can't stop it? Or?
Yeah.
It's like an hour and a
Exactly.
half. He's trying to get like move away.
Actually, there's one thing that really puts me in that same mind, and that was the trailer from Dominion, because I used the music for 10 minutes from the talk where I play videos of animal slaughter. And every time I hear it, I just like start remembering, all right, now when we finish the video, I'm going to start the second part of the talk, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
I was just going to say, I caught up with him like halfway through the tour. We were in Germany, and we were both in bad shape at that point. I don't remember why, but we were just...
You don't remember why?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Why are we in bad shape? Give us some gossip.
I'll give you some. No.
Well, for me, it was just like, it was really intense. It was 49 events in 45 days, so I was...
That's why he was rough. He had a good excuse. I had just come out of a relationship, and so that was different.
That's true.
But yeah, we both like, I was expecting it to be like this fun time and everything. And we get together and we're both just like, but then we were at the guinea pig sanctuary, and that was so nice.
That one night was nice.
Yeah, that one night was nice. There was we had some friends that we actually met when we did a tour in Germany, and they have a guinea pig sanctuary it's not Koblenz, it's the one next to, what's the name of the city?
Come on, guess.
Konstanz.
Yeah, I was expecting
Bodensee.
Friedrichshafen.
No, it's Bodensee.
Alright.
Bodensee in Germany. Anyway, and they have this like beautiful home with like a lake view and everything, and they have a guinea pig sanctuary with like 14 guinea pigs or something. It's actually really sweet. They make these little like chirping sounds, weep, 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 and they do. It's super nice, and you like walk in the door and they come and say hi and everything. It was nice.
Can anyone go to this guinea pig sanctuary?
No, I don't think so. It's not so. It's not
also
really,
their house.
It's their house. Yeah. It's inside their house, so it's indoors.
Right,
it's indoors. But maybe they'll do that someday. But no, it's not like a thing you can go and like just not
hang out with guinea pigs. Say, hey, can I come hang with you guinea pig?
Hey, I heard about you guys in a podcast.
Yeah, we don't want like hundreds of people showing up at their house.
Yeah, I won't give the address. But if you message me on Instagram after you follow me, I'll send it to you.
But he won't follow you back, so get used to it.
Oh.
So
you didn't think about that.
Yeah, I didn't.
We got Planet Vegan coming out next year, 2020.
Hope so.
Hope you better do.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
5-part series.
6 now. It was going to be 8.
Yeah.
Things have like really kind of jumped around quite a bit as we've talked to more and more people about the way to structure it and things. We think we're going to go. I think it's official with 6, but we also thought it was official with 8, so we don't know.
But why did you want to do a documentary? There are a load of vegan documentaries. What made you think I'm going to do one?
Yeah, you know what's interesting is when I started it, like when I came up with the idea, I definitely had that thought of like, there's also like other vegan documentaries. How is this going to be any different? And when I started the documentary, the idea was so much different than it is now. And what it's come into and turned into, I'm much happier with than it was going to be. But it was going to be this like very positive, very fun, like whoop-a-doop-a-doo, vegan around the world. Like,
yeah, like
seriously,
you,
basically. Yeah, no, but it was going to be this like, this thing of like celebrating veganism and like, look how much fun vegans are having and everything. And it's now turned into something that's like, it's the beginning part of it. The first couple episodes are more on that like lighthearted side, and then the last 2 are on activism. But at the same time, when I came up, this is where he comes into the story. When I came up with the idea, I'd never done street activism. The most I'd ever done was like, I was taking photos for vegan restaurants for free, and that was like my activism. And I didn't know that street activism existed. And then I met him, and he introduced me to what then ruined my life. I'm just kidding.
I thought you were gonna say he introduced me to depression.
No, but so that's kind of that was kind of what happened, and so it's changed so much. But I realized that there was a vegan series had never been done. No one had ever taken like the different aspects of veganism and put them each into an episode. So I immediately I was meditating one day. That's how I came up with the idea for the series. Is I was like meditating like in my bed. I was living in Spain and like the Canary Islands, and I was like working for this school and had like nothing going on. I was super bored. And I was like meditating one morning, and like I had this idea that was like film a documentary series about veganism, and the whole thing, or a documentary about veganism. Series wasn't in there yet. And the whole thing about meditation is like ideas come in and you let them go and you practice like grounding, and like that went by and I was like, no, that's a really good idea. And, like broke meditation, immediately started sending out emails. Like within like 20 minutes, I'd sent out like 50 emails. Seriously, like I wrote something up and just blasted it out. And by the end of that day, I had enough people that had confirmed and said yes. Like Gregor was the first person. Enough people had said yes that I was like, oh my God, I have a documentary. And like by the end of that month, I had like 40, 50 people. And I was like, this is a series now. Like, cause I was getting athletes and doctors, and I was like, okay, that's an episode. But I was also getting events and things like that. And I was like, that could be another episode. And then like activists started saying yes. Seb said yes, and like all these things kind of came together. And it was like, okay, this is more than just.
So you two didn't actually know each other until you started.
Until I went to Barcelona.
Yeah,
absolutely. Had the epiphany, and then that was in November, and then I spent 4 months planning. I'd never filmed anything, never touched a cinema camera, nothing, and so I just like I was working for this school. I wasn't working; it was like a trade, and so I was like working for the school kind of, and like I had just like all day to do nothing. So I just like studied everything. I watched like hours and hours and hours of YouTube videos of like how to film and how to set up a camera. What is 4K? Should I be shooting in 4K? What's, all these things. And so I just kind of like learned it that way, and then rented gear. Do you want to tell that story? Okay.
So he comes to Barcelona, staying at my place. And at the time, like I remember I was so tired, like from activism, but also like having people over at my place all the time. And when he reached out to me, I was like, fine, like I guess it's all right.
He probably felt like he's pretty cute.
Like I picked him up from where the airport bus arrives, and it was like a 6 minutes walk to my place. And by the time we got to my place, I was like, thank God, like this is the person who's gonna stay over, because like he seems chill, like it's laid back. It's all right.
You hate to have someone like come over when you're exhausted, who just like exhausts you.
Yeah, exactly. So he rents all the gear. He rented like I don't know 8,000 or 9,000 euro worth of gear. Saturday.
For like 2 days of shooting.
Yeah, Saturday we get ready for the Cube of Truth. We go to the spot. We start the cube. We're doing street activism. He has the tripod, the camera on, and everything.
And I have no idea what I'm doing. Like never touched any of this gear before. Just the first time I'm renting it.
It's like pro gear.
Oh, pro, yeah. And I went online and I was like, I think this will fit on this, and like all these things when I got it didn't work together and all this stuff. Anyway.
Yeah. So meanwhile, I go live on the main page of Anonymous for the Voiceless, 80,000 followers. Imagine I'm live. I'm filming the cube and everything, and I go like, and here we have James Hoot filming the documentary.
And I'm like, this is my time to shine.
And he's like, he was fixing something with the tripod, and he hears it, so he turns around with a big smile on his face, and the tripod just starts falling.
And I heard 80 people around me all at the same time go,
yeah. And he literally went like this and grabbed it without even knowing what's happening. He just like guessed that like, okay, cameras, 9,000 euro falling down.
Life is over.
Life is over unless you stick your hand out.
Man, that was so funny.
So you talked about that, how you introduced him to depression, but yet the thing is that you see a lot of
depressing things
on a day-to-day basis, like full time. How do you keep that smile on your face?
It's all fake.
That's exactly what I wanted.
Let's give him some love.
Okay.
Maybe I should go first, and you can think about it.
He's crying now. I've broken him.
I don't know. That's the thing. It's like it happens, but my mindset while I'm inside those places, like if I'm on a slaughterhouse kill floor, all I'm thinking is I'm here to film.
Yeah.
And spread awareness and leave. I'm not here to have emotions. I'm not here to think about how I feel about what's going on. Like my job right there on the spot is to film, because we need to get this out. So I don't really process things that well. And also when I get back home, first thing I do is I edit them and I prepare them for Instagram. Because what happens afterwards is when you put it up, all the messages start coming in, you just get like distracted. You don't give yourself the time to deal with it. And actually the last time I went to a slaughterhouse, which was around a month ago, I didn't end up doing that, and it was the hardest one, because I instead just like it's been on my phone for a month now, and whenever I'm in my photos album, like I see the videos sometimes because I favorited them so I can post them, and I just don't want to think about it. That's why I haven't been posting it. It's been a month. So yeah, it's definitely not for everyone, and no one should feel bad if they can't do it. Like that's completely fine. But my personal way of approaching it is, once you do that, first of all, the day after, take a break. That's it. Like you need to, no matter whether or not you think it affected you, take a break.
Because it did.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
We just ignore it.
Yeah.
We just ignore it because we think, for me personally, it's so far the way to deal with it was look at the greater good. So the last time I did that, the videos went viral. Was watched 45,000 times on my Instagram story, and more than 1,700 people signed up on Challenge 22 through my link in those 3 weeks. And so when I saw that, it just kind of like if you have a wound and then you cover it.
Yeah.
You know,
So you
it's
kind of
not
go in and you're already thinking about the impact it's going to have.
Yeah.
You're not in that moment
Yeah.
of seeing.
Yeah.
One thing you didn't mention is the other thing, like because he took me to the same slaughterhouse, so I've only been there once, but I'm planning on going back while I'm here. But like it's very different, I think, at least when you go in and you're filming through a camera, because it almost makes it, for me at least, it makes it like a movie. Because like I'm watching this horrific thing happen on this screen. Like I have this one video. It's on my Instagram somewhere. And like I will never forget this, man. We're watching, like we just seen, I think, 2 cows be slaughtered, and then like, and it's halal, and it's dirtier than the others, to be honest. I think, at least. And like I remember, like at one point I look up. I'm filming Seb watch this cow be slaughtered, and I look up and he's just like shaking, shaking uncontrollably, legs and hands, and I'm watching him film. And I'm just sitting there, and then like I literally started losing my shit, and I like had to look back at my camera. Like my camera was my safe zone, you know, and it always has been. Like
because the thing is, usually like the first time I went, I had my camera and my phone, and I was literally the whole time like this, one for YouTube, one for Instagram, you know. So the whole time I'm watching it through a screen. The second time I went with him, he had his camera, so I only took my phone. So when I was filming with my phone, I was just looking at the animal instead, and that was just like it gets you more.
I suppose if you were to go in with no cameras and just
watch.
I mean, that's what happened with Lena when like my ex-girlfriend, when she was in there with us, and like it was like she was there like with the animals, literally bearing witness in front of them. Like that's the most like powerful footage I think we have from that, is her literally like petting this calf like as her throat's being slit, like So like, you know, it was, and she was not okay for a long time after that. I mean, like how could you be, you know? So I think that's the biggest thing, is like it does affect you, no question. I was just gonna talk like about like keeping a smile on the face. Like we've seen dark things, absolutely. There's also like a lot of good in the world, and I'm often not great at seeing it. Neither are you. And to be honest, we often get into really terrible conversations where we shouldn't even be going down that road. I think one thing that kind of helps me like stay positive is looking at previous struggles throughout like humankind. And you know, like there have been horrible things done to human beings for the past basically ever. And regardless of how bad those things were and how minuscule the opportunity to change them may have seemed, people still got together and tried. Like, you know, we always say like animal liberation in one generation. I don't know that, to be honest, and I feel like I've looked at it quite a bit and actually really considered if that's possible. I think there are aspects to veganism that are possible, but I don't personally see us as being on a path towards a completely peaceful world. That's what veganism is really about.
That would mean no murders. That would mean no animal abuse at all.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
The world that we live in, there's always going to be someone getting killed. That vegan world, I don't think it will exist to the pure definition of veganism.
But some people really do, I believe, like to their core, believe that we will see this vegan world where, you know, let's say it's only relating to animals, even though originally when, you know, veganism was founded, it was about worldwide peace. You know, it was radical. And so I think that's a big thing, is like I don't really see that as being possible. I think there are two sides to this story in a way. And so I don't know. I do look to the past quite a bit. I don't study it as much as I should, but I remind myself at least often of like, this is a huge struggle, you know, like this, and this is something that human beings have been doing for a very long time, is treating other animals incredibly poorly. And so I think we have to realize that it's going to also take a lot of time to change, and that we are making big steps, man. I just saw this today. I've been calling this for 2 years, and I feel like an idiot for not shorting them. But
dairy.
That was the stock. I've been talking about this stock for a long time. I used to be interested in the stock market, and now not so much, but like I still look at it so that I can like map out companies.
You wanted to bet that.
I wanted to bet that they were going to go down,
yeah.
And it was at $12, and they just went bankrupt today. So it was like 12 hours ago they filed for bankruptcy. The biggest dairy company in the U.S. is now going bankrupt.
Burn,
dude.
Would that be ethical though? Would you say to short on a company going bankrupt, even though that company is unethical? Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, for sure.
To profit from their failure.
Yeah, of course. I'd throw a party.
If their failure is like
the end of exploitation,
exactly,
you know,
benefiting possibly millions of animals. I would say many tens of millions,
and humans,
and
the
absolutely.
environment.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Fuck it, let's party tonight.
Yeah.
So maybe we should just short all the dairy farms that are on the stock market.
I thought about it. No, I really have. The problem is this was the only one that also didn't do plant milk. because there's another Hain Celestial. Hain Celestial owns like Silk and like a couple others, and so I don't want to short a company that I actually do see is making some progress, because at any point they could say like, now we're doing plant milk, and they could explode, and then the problem with shorting a stock is that if it goes up, you can lose unlimited amount of money. There's no limit to the amount of money you can lose. If it goes down, you can, like only double your investment. Anyway, capitalism.
Capitalism
Yeah.
is a different story, really.
Whole different story.
If you think we're not going to obtain that vegan world, what's your end game, Seb?
Try to reduce the suffering as much as possible. That's it. It's like, let's say you see someone on the road being racist towards someone else, you'd probably step in and try to stop it from happening, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that you believe one day we're going to have a completely free of racism world, but as long as you can do your best to reduce the suffering of victims, you do it. You try your best. I do my activism hoping that one day we'll reach that world, but very probably we're never going to reach 100% vegan world.
Unless the human race
goes
extinct, and which it's kind of a vegan world.
Yeah.
But the aspect of veganism doesn't really exist if we're gone.
Yeah.
Veganism is a human construct.
That's true.
But
yeah, try your best as much as you can to help the victims.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is like focus on what you can do, because like during James Aspie's interview at what's that event called? Vegan Campout. He was just saying like, look, like I can't create like a vegan burger, for example. Like I don't know how to do what Beyond Meat does. I don't know the compounds to use and all the plants. I have no idea, but I'm a communicator. And so I can communicate veganism to other people. I have the strength, from a mental standpoint, and the ability to like meditate and heal myself. I can go into slaughterhouses. I can go to factory farms. I can do these things. And so he was just saying like, play to your own strengths and find a form of activism that works for you, but you have to be active, because like it's not changing fast enough. For the billions of animals we will lose today, it's not changing fast enough. So every single individual that agrees with this cause, and I believe honestly around the world most people would, but at least those who are currently involved, they have to get active. And so they have to like find street activism, online activism, outreach, figure out something that works for you.
Yeah. I mean, because you see the rise in the number of people vegan,
yeah.
But then is the rise in active vegans following that?
Yeah.
Do you see a rise in activism as well? Since you guys are doing it?
I mean, think about it this way, just let's say 4 years ago, what we have now just didn't exist. The amount of activism, whether it's Say Movement, I mean, it existed, but the amount of people doing it, Mouse for the Voices, Meet the Victims, Earthlings Experience.
And look at the growth of like Meet the Victims, for example. Yeah. That's been massive, man.
Yeah.
I mean, they to start an organization and then I think they've done like almost over 10 actions now, over like 10 actions all across the world, and they're getting huge. I mean, like they had like 200 people.
So there's one that's gonna happen in Europe.
Yeah. That's right.
In 2020.
Yep. And I think they have more.
Better to give in between numbers. Between 200 and 1,000 people have confirmed to come. Yeah.
And if people want to sign up, can they?
Meetthevictims.org.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah, actually.
Sign-ups have closed though.
Sign-ups are closed right now, because every single person who signs up, they do kind of as much as you can a background check of who they are, get some information, reach out to other people, see if they know them, and then they're confirmed.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
And earlier you were talking about taking a day off.
Yeah.
What'd you do on your day off?
So
talk about how much we want to go work.
I just like do my Instagram inbox. I mean, it's not a day off, I know, but I'm not the best person to answer these questions. But I would recommend that you do things you enjoy doing. I mean, I do go to the beach sometimes, it's fun.
What's some fun? You sound like a fun guy to hang out with.
I've been here for 2.5 months. I've been at the beach twice, actually.
At the same time though, like, are you really like that much of a beach person?
I love the beach.
Oh, okay, never mind. Because like I've lived at the beach like a lot of my life, and like I'm here, and so I think people would be like, I haven't been to the beach since I got here, and so I think a lot of people would be like, why are you not at the beach? I'm like, I like the beach, but like I don't have this drive.
No. Let's be honest. He literally becomes the color red.
Okay, that was literally.
I couldn't relate.
It was so bad. It was so bad.
Okay, my first day last time I was on island. My first day, he drives us around the island all day. Like we go to the beach, whole thing. didn't think that we were these like very white people and that we were gonna have problems. He doesn't think about this, of course. And so
Yeah, I'm safe.
like had trouble sleeping, couldn't like do anything other than getting out of bed, sun poisoning, got all these crazy dots all over me, like, and now I'm fine. I don't
Just
get
wrap yourself in
I need
Seb's hair.
I need 2 weeks to
Yeah.
kind of settle into my new skin, and then once I'm a little tan,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Do you tan?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
don't,
mean,
ever.
if you looked at my thigh and my arm, there's a big
I
difference.
don't want to look at your time, man. Like,
It's right here.
I'm good. I'll pass on that.
Okay.
So
No, I mean, yeah, taking day off could be anywhere. Like, I'd love to. I don't know, if I was with some friends, I'd love to go play some football. You know, I don't know. That's always fun.
Well, your very good friend brought you a frisbee, and you have yet to play frisbee with him.
I haven't taken a day off since you got here.
It's true. No, I think that's a good thing. The only thing that I've also noticed with full-time activists though is that like we're very, very bad at scheduling days off, because it's like, you know, like, what is a day off? Like, if you think about it, like the average person has like, you know, if they do a 9 to 5, that's probably the average around the world, has some form of position where they're at work 6 days or 5 days a week. And then they have 2 weekends. And like sometimes they still do busy things on the weekends. They garden, they do something like that. But it is kind of a day off of like work. But like our work is not structured. There's not like, this is work, you know, like you have an Instagram platform. That's always something happening, you know, like it's always. And like, Planet Vegan, there's always something going on. Like I'm always writing or coming up with ideas or something like that. So it's like, it's just a different structure. But that being said, like I also some days like I don't have, you know, a whole lot to do. So I'll do a couple things and then have like the rest of the day off. So it's like, you know, one of those things. But personally, I like hiking. I like waterfalls. I like frisbee. I like sports.
It's also because, like, I mean, I used to work in architecture before, and there's a huge difference in the two, because architecture, like 9 to 5, or sometimes architecture is different, it could be 9 to 10, and then, but you go home and then you're done.
Yeah.
You know, I'm done. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care anything about what's happening back in the office. Weekend, I'm done. No one contacts me, like I'm free. And then with activism, like if on a Sunday afternoon someone sent me a message saying, hey, I'm thinking about going vegan, I'm not gonna be like, wait for Monday 9 a.m. and I'll let you know, because then until Monday they're gonna eat animals, you know.
True.
There is no like turning off in a way.
Because
you know?
your client is like the animals' lives, so you can't really just go like, I've taken the day off now. I'm not
We
gonna
turn
help
off
you.
when the industry turns off.
Yeah, exactly. We'll
Whoa,
do that.
That client line is sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Animals
that's
are
what
a
it
client.
is.
Yeah.
not that their life
Yeah, right,
is our
yeah.
client, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why it's kind of
Crazy.
Yeah, you can't
I-
really detach from it. It's not.
Exactly.
It's not a job, is it?
I'd
It's not a
rather do
profession.
like, instead of a day off, I'd rather do like half day and then rest, because then at least I've done something.
And especially a lot of what you guys do is through social media as well, isn't it? And everything is on social media now.
Yeah,
I mean, how often do you go half an hour without picking up your phone?
of course. I'm literally struggling now.
Yeah, you're like shaking.
Like I put it upside down, but it's like really annoying because I really want to see if I have any
Seb,
notifications.
Something might have happened.
What is someone exactly?
Touch me.
Whoa.
But whoa, in what way?
That was the. It was the phone. It wasn't me. Dude,
Getting carried away.
look at my thigh.
Which one, the left or the right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, everyone's got a good thigh.
Yeah.
I
we
gotta
can
find
look
out
at
which is
both.
whiter. Actually, my left one is whiter. My right one got so burned the other day.
Why?
It's like, huh?
What were you doing?
I was driving here.
Why?
Did you leg out the window?
No, because you have shorts. When you sit down, when men wear shorts and they sit
Yeah,
down.
but why only one thigh?
Because the way the sun was coming, my arm was walking. I have an excuse.
How thick is your arm?
Thicker than the thigh.
Thicker than that. No, that's the way the sun works. It's like if something's closing.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway, can we move on to the next thing?
No, let's keep talking about
This
your
feels like
thighs.
bullying.
So with social media, it's great because obviously you can reach so many people. Like you said,
Yeah.
how many thousands and thousands of people view your videos, view your stories, and how powerful a tool do you think that social media is for activism and the rise in veganism?
I think it's the most powerful one.
Yeah, which is scary in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they have control over it.
Mhm.
But I mean, we're not easy. Like, it's not easy for us to go on the news. You know, it's not easy for us to go on mainstream TV, because even when we do, they start editing out the important parts and they show what they want to show,
Yeah.
depending on their agenda.
And if you look at what their advertising dollars are, it's very seldom vegan products.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I was on the radio in Dubai actually a few months ago to talk about veganism, and I started talking about pig slaughter
Mhm.
on the radio in a Muslim country. Obviously, not a
Doesn't
topic they
really-
want to talk about.
Yeah.
They just muted my microphone
Wow.
and they just put ads, and they were like, Yeah, and I was like, yeah, this is what happens to the pigs, you know. And
Yeah, but they don't kill pigs anyway, so why is that a problem?
it was just talking about we were talking about Dominion, and we were talking about what goes on. I was talking about the first few scenes of it, not in a particularly graphic way.
Yeah.
But they were like, no.
Okay.
So they really just control everything that you say. So I think it's great through social media. You can have a platform like you can set up 16 to 18 cameras like this and just talk about whatever you want, and then anyone can watch it. You can say whatever you want. If you want to talk about James's
on the internet
ties,
forever.
it's fine.
Yeah.
No one can edit it out apart from me. So.
And you won't because it's
fine.
Quality content.
Quality content.
Yeah.
Actually, so I use your song.
Yeah.
On all my episodes. You have a big following in Dubai that love the song, by the way.
Fantastic.
When did you write the song?
I wrote the song on a train. I wrote the song on a train on the way to record it. Actually, so basically what happened is I've been sitting in the studio a lot to do the sound for Planet Vegan, and like I was sitting in the studio one day with this guy Philip, and he's super fantastic. But he used to do a lot of hip hop, and so he used to rap too, and like he's worked with like some like pretty big profile artists and stuff like that, and so he told me at one point we're sitting in the studio and we like had this like part come up in the first episode where we wanted it to be like more fun, and I was like, let's like do a hip hop beat. And he's like, cool. So we put something together, and I start sitting there and I'm like freestyling a little bit, and he's like, oh, do you flow? And I'm like, yeah, I flow. And he's like, I flow too. And then so he's like, let's break out the mic. The funny part about this is Lars, who's our editor, is like always terrified of Philip and I getting in a room together, because he's always like, you guys are not going to get anything done. And I'm always like, it'll be fine, like no problem. And then like, what do I know? An hour into it, we're sitting there, we're getting the mics out. I'm like, yeah, you're Planet Vegan, yeah. Like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, Lars would hate this. Like we went down there to edit like the score for Planet Vegan and to be very productive, because we had like 3 days left till our deadline. And then we're like pulling mics out and like I'm writing raps and stuff. So then but what we did is we wrote this one like short 20-minute part to put into the series for the part where we wanted to have that. And then we decided we want to make a music video, and we were like, all right, let's just extend it. He gave me like the longer track. I just wrote something on the way to record it and knocked it out. It was super fun. Yeah.
How's it doing, the song?
Good. I don't really check it. It actually, you know what's funny is that it definitely didn't get the exposure we were hoping, because it got like a lot of engagement on the post, but not very well viewed. And then Plant-Based News put it up, and they said like something choked the engagement. They said in 2 minutes it got 2,000 views and then went to nothing. Literally, and it ended up sitting on their page. Most of their videos get 50, 60, 70,000 views. Yeah. It went up to 2,000 and like very quickly, and then went to like 2,500 was the total. And he sent me a message. He's like, I've never seen this before. I have no idea why this happened. And I was like, because that was like going to be one of the big ways to get people interested in Planet Vegan was Plant-Based News.
Yeah, I had no idea, but there's a documentary coming out. I thought it was just a song just like that.
Yeah.
I was like, cool.
Yeah. So
you think they actually block it?
I have no idea. No idea what happened. It could have been the time it was posted. Maybe they had a post too recently or something. I have no idea. Yeah. Or maybe people like actually, maybe it wasn't good content for their page.
Maybe you're just really shitty.
Maybe I am. No, that could be. Maybe all of.
Maybe I've just got really bad taste in music.
Yeah, could be. Yeah. Just
I think it's good.
Everyone that told me it's good is a liar.
Yeah, they just like you.
Yeah.
Never trust
even less.
Never trust the opinion of friends that you say.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think you told me straight up. You were like, it's bad, and I was like, thanks. No, just kidding.
That's a good friend.
Yeah, that is good.
Actually, talking of opinions, so I like opinions. Recently, someone was telling me that eating oysters and mussels is still vegan.
Yeah, that's why it's called an opinion and not a fact. Because the fact is it's not.
Yeah. Why is it not?
Because it's not a plant. It's an animal. They have a micro nervous system, so they do count as a sentient being. Obviously, they're not as like advanced and sentient as other beings, but they're animals. I mean,
and
there's
it's
a
such a ridiculous conversation. Just don't eat them. Like really, just why? Why do you have to have that one little thing you're holding on to?
Yeah.
People are like, oh well, what if I transition to only crickets? I'm like, you're gonna eat crickets and you won't have beans? You crazy person.
But it's funny how so many people are freaking out about that. How they're considering making protein from insects.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, that's disgusting.
And then vegans are weird for liking like tofu.
Tofu, tempeh, every plant out of thousands and thousands of species of plants that are edible. It's like, no, we want crickets. Dude.
Anything to not go vegan.
I know, but literally, that's what it is. That really is what it is. People are just holding on to animal protein.
I mean, just like clean meat, like the meat they grow in labs, you know, like that's how far they'd rather go instead of just having like a Beyond Burger.
Yeah.
You know, like it literally tastes the same.
What's your opinion on lab meats?
I mean, if it's gonna help save lives, good. I'm not gonna eat it. Like.
Yeah, definitely won't eat it. Personally, I've really kind of gone back and forth on this. I'm quite supportive of it. Not in the way that I think it's an ethical product, but in the way that... So there were actually a lot of things that I found very unethical about it. They were using something called fetal bovine serum, which is actually extracted from the heart of a baby cow when they're still inside of their pregnant mother.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I go into that in episode 1. They have actually now found a plant-based replacement that's more efficient than that. That was really the big thing. They're still going to have to extract cells from a cow, so there's still animal exploitation, that whole thing. At the same time, I don't think the world is going to get anywhere close to being vegan, let's say in the next decade. I really don't. I think we've got a lot longer than that. First world might, or, the developed countries might have a little bit bigger push. I do think clean meat, they expect to be cheaper than conventional meat by 2025. That would be so crazy. That would be absolutely insane.
Fuck, that's 5 years ago. That's in 5 years from now.
5 years. 5 years.
I feel like it's ages, but it's not.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the history of the world, it's almost no time at all. And it's like the history of even, industrialized humanity, it's not that long. And so that would really, really, really change things. It might even be too late. 2025 might be too late. It's going to be on market by 2021, they say, 2022, but it'll be cheaper. And so if you think about other countries who, aren't able to they don't have a market for expensive products, you can come in and say, look, this stuff is kind of weird, public perception, but a lot of the people in your country may not be as concerned with those things, or the governments may not be as concerned with the I want to say welfare of a product, with the production of things like that. I think there's less concern over those things in developing countries. I don't know that, but I would assume.
Yeah.
And so from a governmental standpoint, there's no FDA in much more developing countries. Or I would assume there's not one that's as stringent. So I think they will allow the product to come in, and these are the nations that are now going to start slaughtering animals at much higher rates over the next few years. So I think that's where they could come in, is by cornering these markets.
It's worrying, isn't it? When you look at it, you see, rise in veganism in Western countries, but then you see the rising middle class in India, the rising middle class in China. Yeah. Their demand for animal products is growing
significantly.
And that's terrifying when you look at it. Yeah. So if we can replace that or find something that doesn't have the impact, that doesn't involve cruelty, and they're willing to go with it, then why not? Yeah. And we're talking about the scale of time. And I don't know, how long has... I don't want to call it a job, 'cause it's not a job, but you guys are full-time activists, right? Talk about time. Anything you think about in the future, you think about retirement. Have you guys thought about retirement plans?
I don't. Oh boy.
See,
because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that'd love to be full-time activists. They're committed to it, their heart's in it, but they're terrified. I mean,
I'm just hoping by then climate collapse will take care of us.
If you think we're gonna have a long conversation, if you think we're making it to retirement age, I think, which we might about to be have a long conversation about it. I don't know. I think for me, I think we will see a collapse of society within the next 30, 40 years, to the point where retirement funds don't even make sense anymore.
Yeah.
We wouldn't. We'll get to the point where capitalism is gone. Because it was a slow transition out of capitalism into a better system. Exactly. No, it's no. Wide mass collapse based on hunger and destabilization, and that's gonna draw everyone out of their plans. There's no retirement fund when you can't feed yourself. That's gone immediately. Money, I think, will have a different value. So I think.
But still, if you have some money, that's better than not having.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No.
Because even to do what you do, and obviously capitalism, we want to move away from it. But the reality of it is that even to do what you're doing, you need money to do it.
Yeah, the system. Of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. No, for me, it's I just don't think about it. I know it's not I had a career in architecture, well-off company. I was just not comfortable doing it anymore. I knew I just want to do activism instead all the time, and I took the decision. Obviously my parents are worried and were really freaking out when I told them I'm quitting my job and everything, but I don't know, we'll see what happens. I mean, I can always just go back to working as a waiter. I really don't care how I make my money, as long as I have shelter and food. I don't care about anything else.
And obviously recently has been a great creation of Patreon.
Yeah.
And if anyone does want to support and can wants to support both Seb and James on Patreon, you can do. I'll put links to both of them down below. And I think it's a great system.
Yeah.
Because
it is a really cool system.
it finally gives a way for people to literally support you,
Yeah.
not just by following you or
Yeah.
liking
Yeah.
your posts, sharing your content, which is great.
Which is very helpful, actually.
But the reality of it, you still need
Yeah.
you need money to survive
Yeah.
and sort of do what you're doing, equipment. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
And you share like specific content as well, don't you, through those platforms?
Mhm.
So what are you sharing?
Well, you mean with the patrons?
yeah.
So what I do is first I have like one Instagram page for the patrons to follow where I give like more day-to-day updates of what I've been doing, just so they know, like, I mean, I don't want someone to just give money and not check what I'm doing with that money, so I have that. I also just update every now and then for the patrons. And when anybody signs up as a patron, there's some perks. If they want something from my online shop, they can just let me know. It's weird. Most people, like, I used to reach out to people like, all right, with the pledge that you put, you could get this, get that. Most people would say, I'm all right, I don't want anything.
Yeah.
But then again, like, I would also love to give something back because I just feel better about it. But yeah, that's it. It's weird because like usually on Patreon, like it's artists and YouTube content creators like strictly on another subject. So let's say if it's a singer or a painter, depending on the pledge of the patron, they can give something back, like a piece of art. But me, I'm just doing something for the animals. So like, what can I give back?
Yeah.
You're giving your time for the animals.
Exactly. That's why it's such a different way of functioning with the vegan community when it comes to Patreon. It's really interesting. I was thinking recently, like, to post, to share with the patrons specifically nice pictures I've taken of animals, just like brighten their day up. We got the 2 chickens here downstairs, and I don't know, they're quite special. I've taken some nice photos of them.
Yeah.
But
I've been following Lola since you.
Maybe should I bring him? Should I bring Lola?
Bring Lola.
Yeah.
We want to see Lola.
He loves being around people. He loves it. Like, so nobody think that this is like animal exploitation.
No.
He would rather be here than like in the garden.
He's gonna poop.
He's gonna poop
I can
for
feel
sure.
it already.
Hey Lola.
So cute.
It's the Lola cast. Oh my god.
So this is Lola.
Hi, sweetheart.
Don't poop on the table.
Please don't poop on the table.
If you're gonna poop on a laptop, do it on Seb's.
Yes.
Do you think the acidity would burn through your keyboard?
Not anymore.
So where did you find Lola?
So we were like driving on the side of the road, and we saw a farm, and we just went down to look at the animals. And while I was looking at them, I was like, why don't I just ask the farmer, So I called the farmer. I used Google Translate. I was like, I'd really like to have a chicken at home. I don't eat animals. So like, it's not like you're giving away your livelihood for free to someone else who's gonna consume it for free. But if you could just help me save a life, that would be really amazing. Initially I said like, can you give me like some sick chicken that like you would otherwise kill? And he brought Lola, and I thought Lola was sick, but Lola is perfectly healthy, and he is huge now.
Huge.
He's like really buff. He didn't have like all these feathers.
Yeah.
Oh man, it scares me so much.
It's so amazing to see like how much
The transformation.
growth and like improvement a chicken can have in the space of like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been
So
such
it's
a short
been
amount of
longer
time.
than that,
Yeah.
but since I have seen
It's
him,
been a month now.
Yeah, since I've seen him, he's completely different.
I mean, I can't remember the last time I actually saw a live chicken. And they are such incredible animals. Like, you can see the intelligence of them as well.
Yeah,
They're
And-
really smart.
Yeah.
they're curious.
And how we've objectified them
Yeah.
is
Well, because if you think about it, he would have gone to market. He would have been sold like weeks ago, right?
All the other 6,000 chickens have already been killed. 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But he loves playing.
He's
He
super
goes
cute.
special.
He'll run after him, like literally run. He'll flap his feathers to like increase his speed.
Nice.
He's so fast. Like
He's
if you
really
think about it, like they look like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Like if you like look at their feet, man. Like
No,
they
it's
look
gonna
like-
come out.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, chicken poop.
Okay, Lola.
Lola really wants to.
Lola, you want to say something
Do
to the
you want
mic?
to say something for all the rest of the chickens out there? Yep, he agrees. And
Wow.
liberation.
Wow.
That was
And
deep.
liberation now.
Yeah.
And I heard a bit of fuck the police. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Right, baby?
Okay.
So now we've got a fourth guest. Obviously, Lola has joined us.
We do.
I mean, what more could you possibly want from life? You know, you're
I
just
know.
chilling in Bali.
And yet he still complains. He still finds things to complain about. It's amazing.
I mean, yeah, because you saved one life, but then 6,000 others were killed. And that's just one farm.
That's not
You know
what I was
what's the
talking- not what I was talking about. Now I sound like a
You know
made me
what?
sound like a bad person.
You know what's the worst part? Like, we went back after a few weeks to get a friend for Lola. And the worst thing you can see is when you get to a farm and it's empty.
Yeah.
It means they've just all been sent to
Yeah.
slaughter. And we went to like 3 or 4 farms in a row. And then I saw a big one that looked quite new, and I was like, that's an industrial one. And we got there and they were just building it, and it will have 30,000 chickens once it's ready.
30,000. It's just insane how many, and that increasing demand as well.
Yeah. So basically what's happening is that companies like Monsanto, Cargill, which is like one of the biggest animal feed producing companies in the world, but also when it comes to slaughterhouses, they are investing their money in promoting chicken flesh in Southeast Asia as a healthy protein source.
I mean, you think like this is literally why you do it all, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
to save lives.
exactly.
How
Yes.
big do you think he'll get?
I hope not bigger, because he's huge. He's not even like 3 months
no.
old.
He's flexible
You
as
want
well.
to come here? Yeah, it's nice. I mean, every day when I wake up, I go say hi to them. And in the morning, it's the cutest. When they first see you, they just run towards the fence.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you're here, you're here. They're so funny.
What's the lifespan of a chicken?
So,
Many
usually,
years, I think like 4 or 5 years. He will be
Yeah.
less because of how he's been
yeah,
bred.
because they're so modified genetically to get bigger in such a short time, their bodies can't handle their size. So also you have to be careful with their diet.
Yeah.
That's why he grows so
To be
big.
honest though, he looks a little different. Like
He
if you were
looks
in
so
the if you were in the States and you saw like because the problem, like I don't know, not even the States, just like I bet the chickens are different here slightly
Maybe,
because they usually like after, from what I've seen at least, after like a month or two, broiler chickens, which he is technically a broiler chicken, as far as I know, they look completely off. Like their legs are like this big and their bodies are still small, and they just keep growing like that, and then
Yeah.
usually they die. But he looks like a chicken, like a pretty normal chicken, just big one. That's how I see it, at least.
He
What
has
do you-
like the whole attention now.
What do you,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just mesmerized. What do you feed him?
Well, scraps from fruits. He loves watermelon like so much. He could finish like half a watermelon in one day, but we don't do that because that's too much sugar for him. But also veggies, but
Yeah.
also some fruits, not the scraps, like the full like half an apple. We cut it open and give it to him. Cucumbers, lettuce, oats, some flax seeds mixed with the oats as well. So they're really easy to take care of.
Literally, he eats better than I do.
He
No
eats a very
question.
healthy
You make
diet.
like Buddha balls for him?
Just a mini version of it.
Yeah.
Seb's down there chopping like mini cucumbers and like making them perfect.
tahini sauce.
He puts a little flour on the side.
Yeah, for his own like food Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
Lola's
Lola's
food.
food.
I'm sure people would follow that.
Yeah, for
They would.
sure. No, they're really easy to take care of.
Yeah. And you got another one now.
Sorry?
You've taken in another one, haven't you?
We have another one
Yeah.
downstairs, yeah, a baby one.
They get along?
They get along well, but the first
It's
interaction,
nuts.
we'll show you the video.
I
you
saw
can
the
put it
video.
as well.
You
It was
posted
so
a few.
funny.
It was like pecking on top of the head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But they first stood off and they were literally just like
Staring.
They froze, yeah.
for like a minute straight.
Yeah,
And
it
we're
was
just-
so intense. Really, really intense.
There was like 7 of us just sitting there watching, and we're all just like,
Like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
I mean, if you think like, and they're in an open outside space, how do 30,000 chickens feel in
Yeah.
a barn?
Exactly.
Because they have that whole social
Pecking
hierarchy.
order,
yeah.
Literally pecking order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good choice of words. I
That's
think it comes
true.
from that anyway, doesn't it?
that's what
Yeah.
they call it, pecking order. Yeah.
No.
Anyway, Lola's had way too much attention. For,
Yeah.
for
And the thing is, people are going to be actually listening to this.
Oh,
and
wow.
mostly not watching it. They're like, what are these guys doing? They're just like, they're frozen for like 15 minutes.
Oh
In case I
man.
haven't mentioned it, there was there's a chicken on the table that has been saved. So anyway, just check it out on YouTube. You'll see.
Yeah, I was about to say, like,
pictures.
if you're not watching this right now on YouTube, like, I'm sure the YouTube version is much more entertaining.
Definitely, yeah. I would recommend actually checking out the YouTube version of all our episodes. The editing is terrible, done by me, but it's getting better. So working on it.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah. So anyway, we're moving on. End of the year. 2020 is coming. Planet Vegan's coming out in the summer.
Yeah.
If you were to go back to the beginning, what would you do differently?
I think I would focus less on getting like famous people, to be honest.
Right.
I think they were the ones that let me down the most. Ravana was a huge one. So I was supposed to film with Ravana, and she was the person I was most excited for because, to be honest, I also knew like it was important to grow a platform and all this stuff. And I was like, if she puts me in one Instagram story, not me, but the series, like the Instagram for the series, for example, if she puts that in an Instagram story, it's gonna help like reach further. And like she like canceled on me twice and then like moved the date and then all this stuff, and then the day we were supposed to film, finally she was like, oh, I'm going to film with YouTube now, and then like a few months later she's not vegan anymore, and I was like,
she's meant
to be. To be. It would have been a whole big waste of resources.
You had all that content.
Yeah, exactly.
You had to cut it out, obviously.
Yeah. So I think, but that's actually the only example I have of something like that. But I don't know. I would. There's a few things I would check, like mics better and stuff like that. Like there's a few things mistakes I made here and there that I as just like a complete rookie filmmaker, I know better now.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he means like bigger steps. So like, what would you have changed?
Yeah, I know. Like, but I think about it to be.
No, I mean, it's interesting because I mean, if anyone wants to do a documentary, these are the small things that you don't necessarily think about.
But to be completely honest, like I'm super happy with how it's come.
Yeah.
Like there haven't been that many mistakes. Like it's gone super smoothly. Like considering like what's been done and like how horribly it all could have gone. Like imagine if I had dropped that camera on the first day with Seb.
That would have been the end.
It would have been the end. Would have have lost like 10 G's right there, you know, like, and that would have been it. And like, and not even that, it would have demoralized me. It would have been like you literally just got made fun of by like 80,000 people. By like Seb, who's this new person in your life who you're supposed to be friends with.
I would have bullied you the whole time.
I know, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I think there's these things. I don't know. Like I it's weird because it feels like it was kind of not that hard, and it was. I put a lot of work into this. It was a lot of effort, and like it's not even finished. Like I thought the whole thing.
But you did a lot in a year.
Yeah.
If you think about it, that you've recorded everything and you're planning to release the series next year.
Yeah.
Because I was in New York two weeks ago with Marissa from Vegucated.
Yeah.
Like she filmed it in 2005 and she only released it in 2011.
Yeah.
Like, it took her 6 years to put the whole thing.
No,
she did everything, like her own funding, her own people. Like it took forever for her to get that out. So for you, this is actually super quick.
Super quick. And to be honest, it really is like it's 6 documentaries. Yeah. Like each episode is like a documentary in itself. Like you have to figure out the storyline and everything. Like it's a lot, man. But we've really crushed it. The first 2 episodes the first and last episode are finished now, and that's what we've been premiering. And that's like they both are like hard hitting. I had multiple people send me messages. They're like either now getting active or they're going vegan. So like it had the impact already that I wanted to have, and now we just need to finish it and get it out to hopefully millions of people, because I think the market is there. I mean, like Netflix just launched The Game Changers. It was the best-selling documentary of all time on iTunes. Apple is now going to be looking at this stuff. And like this is a little bit different because it's about veganism as opposed to like plant-based and bodybuilders.
Yeah, they don't even mention the word vegan in
they might once or twice, but like
it was focused purely on
it's
food.
Not about veganism. Exactly. It's about health and plant-based diets and things like that, which is good. We need those documentaries too. You know, it's a good way to transition people. So this is probably a little bit more on the extreme side. There's one episode where like, you know, I'm going into farms with Leah Dolinger and other people.
I wonder who that might be.
No, it was Lola. It was me and Lola. Yeah. Anyway, so another thing that will be weird for people listening. They'll be like, "What was that about? What was that interaction?" Anyway,
another reason to watch it.
Another reason to watch it. But yeah, so I think.
Also, he's been falling asleep. This is so cute.
Oh, this is super cute.
Are there going to be any more premieres, or is that it?
There will be a Bali premiere.
No way.
Yeah. New Year's Eve. I just booked the theater.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Is there any street activism here in Bali?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a cube. There's definitely the opportunity to go into slaughterhouses and film. It would be a really good place, honestly, for a podcast. because like there's a lot of activists who come, and there's a lot of really interesting people out here too. A lot of like cool restaurant owners and stuff like that. So yeah, I think. What would you say about that? I haven't been doing so much like street activism here. But there is some street activism. It's really nice because there's also a lot of local activists. There's a Vegan Society of Indonesia that's based in Denpasar, which is like half an hour from here. I personally don't do a lot of street activism here because I think the locals can't really relate that much with me, and I think it can be seen as something that like, he's coming here and teaching us his ways, which is not what I want to do. I think it's much more powerful if a local activist talked to a fellow local person about veganism, because then it's like, oh, okay, this guy's like from where I live, you know, like same background, same culture, same language. It's much easier. Lola, I know you like attention. He is one attention boy. And I put him down exactly at a perfect moment because he has left.
Wow. Don't move your feet too much.
So yeah, that's it. I have thought about going to the beach and doing interviews, but that's gonna be with like non-local people, which is interesting.
Because a lot of people call Bali vegan heaven.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have gone vegan in Bali.
Exactly. So what I'm thinking, since every week I do the vegan news, pick some vegan news, go to the beach with a camera, and ask the people on the beach, hey, what do you think about this?
Why haven't you pitched this idea to me? I would totally do it.
Well, he's trying to cut you out, isn't he? Obviously.
He really is.
Could you?
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you, but then I was
I don't
know how I feel like going around.
I would love this.
Filming.
Can I be on camera too? Because I like doing interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
You can get that big mic that Earthling has.
Oh
He's
my
always
God.
swinging around.
Joey has one too.
But I like when Joey does it because he says something, then he gives it to the other one, and they're about to talk, and he's like, it's me again.
But it's this intense movement you have to do between.
I don't
like,
get it.
It's like he's punching.
Maybe I should get one of them for my podcast, just like swing it around.
Yeah, like.
So what do you want to say? Be in control. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I think that'd be a really good idea if you guys went out and did a bit of like beach outreach.
I would totally do that with you.
Okay.
Of course,
Let's
bro.
do that.
Waves crashing in the background.
Yeah. People considering their
Tsunami.
morals.
Yeah, they can see your thighs.
Oh.
I think you should only do it if you're wearing like the
That
teeny trunks.
That was gonna happen anyway.
Teeny trunks.
Yeah,
Mankini.
no, that was just part of the deal.
I think that'd be fun.
This is an intermission. Go grab Lola. There are some things that will have to be cut,
Yeah, there will be.
but not too bad.
No, it's all about being relatable as well, because we do have this problem that vegans aren't relatable and that we're just a bunch of psychos.
And then we can't joke and things.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
It's a fine line though, man.
for me, whatever's funny, even if it's supposed to be offensive towards
Yeah.
me, it's still funny.
Yeah.
I will laugh over being offended any day of the week.
No, that's good.
I don't really draw a line with humour if it makes me laugh.
Good.
Unless it genuinely hurts someone, like physically.
Yeah, of course. There are some lines. See, I'm similar, but I also understand that like certain things can be taken too far.
Yeah.
So it's like this really tricky line, and you never really know yourself when you're crossing it because you don't know how everyone feels about what you're saying. And so like I actually had that. I did a poem in I did a slam poem at the Berlin Animal Rights March, and I did it during like the open mic part. I wasn't like invited to do it. Like the organizers, they told me before, like go into the open mic and do a couple poems. We saw what you did in London. It would be really cool. Great.
Can you do as a poem?
Yeah. Once Lola's back. Only if Lola comes back.
Lola?
Oh. So.
Intermission number 2.
Oh my God. He'll lie like that.
Oh my God, that is the
Forever.
cutest thing ever.
He just doesn't care.
But I was doing one where it's called What If I Told You, and it's like one of the lines is this industry knows exactly how to take. How's that line go?
9 months.
No, I know that one, but before it. It was talking about the industry, and it says they know exactly how to take, just like the calves from their mothers 9 months after they were raped. And like most times I do that, like people are like, that really fucking hit me, like it hit me hard, like that line or something. And then this one guy yells out during that, like during halfway through my one poem, he goes like, "You can't say rape!" and like screams it. I'm like, dude, first off. So I kept going through the poem. One woman tries to grab the mic from me on stage. Literally, it was so bad.
Whoa,
it was super intense. And I keep going, and I'm like, fuck that. Like you're not silencing me. Like, no way. Like I'm allowed to be on this stage for the next like 20 seconds until I leave. Anyway, but it was, I also understand what he's saying, so I've kind of gone through whether using that word or not is like moral, basically. And I'm actually still undecided. I've had a lot of long talks about this. We don't have to go. In fact, I don't want to go into that right now. But I'm still undecided because I keep hearing things from both sides, and I'm like, I can't figure out what I want to say. But anyway,
do you have an opinion on the rape word?
Yeah, it recently changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a few days ago. So I always thought like, if it's not rape, what is it? Until a friend of mine, like we were on a live hangout, and one of them said, so rape has a specific intention, which is what makes it rape, right? It's not the same intention when we do it to animals. The reason why cows are, let's say, raped is not because someone wants to have sexual pleasure or show power specifically towards that cow. It's the exploitation of their sexual system. So it could either be, I think, sexual assault, which makes sense, or sexual exploitation.
But it doesn't rhyme.
Assaulting sexually. It doesn't rhyme, I know.
Doesn't rhyme.
But think about it this way, because if someone has some weird fetish and is a psychopath, they can go around raping animals for pleasure related reasons, whether it's cats or dogs or whatever. I don't want to think about it. That's rape. It's not the same thing that happens on farms. The reason is different. The reason is exploitation of their bodies. So I think I'm gonna stop using the word rape. If someone says oh, that sounds exactly like rape, I'd probably say, yeah, it's definitely sexual assault, because we're doing that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Well, what you just said definitely changed it, because I was using the word rape because I was thinking ultimately that's what it is. But then you're right, the intention isn't. They're doing it from a monetary perspective,
exactly,
to make money. They're not doing it from a fetish of impulsive sexual pleasure, or however any psychopath would justify it.
So what about then when you see the videos where people are laughing and stuff like that while they insert their fist into cows? Is that done for because the way I honestly see it is that I do actually see it as, because rape is not always pleasure. You said that it can also be domination, and I've seen videos, and I'm not saying every single person. You would have to assume most people don't enjoy doing this to a cow, but and I'm not saying they're getting pleasure from it, but I do actually see it in a way as being a form of dominance. I do kind of see it that way, as being look at they're literally trapped in a cage, so they can't move. So that I understand it is sexual exploitation, but I almost see it as being sexual exploitation in addition to being an act of rape. So that's and I listen to that podcast, and I still, and it's one thing. It's I'm not going around saying it all the time, and it's literally this one poem. And to be honest, last time I was asked to do it, I didn't do it because I didn't really know how to react, because I didn't And the thing is, I'm not against offending people. That doesn't bother me at all. I'm totally cool to offend a shit ton of people, no problem. But I don't want to be morally inconsistent.
Yeah.
Offending people is going to happen every time you open your fucking mouth. That's going to happen.
Well, especially when you're going against the opinion of 95% of the population.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. Well, the person that called me out on this in particular was vegan activists. So that was one thing.
Yeah.
But I also, I kind of in some ways do see it as rape. And there's another thing. I mean, there's so much confusion about it. I remember when we were all sitting down at a table, at this one event that I was at in Luxembourg, and someone literally was sitting down and they were someone said it and they were well, you can't call it rape. And then the girl was why not? And he was well, you've never been raped. And she was okay, hang on. And she was well, okay, I can understand that, I think, from a victim's perspective. And then she goes, well, you can't say it either. He goes, but I've been sexually exploited before. And then it got into this weird thing where people were trying to figure out even if they were allowed to say it from a rights perspective. And I was just sitting there maybe the solution is to just not say it at all, but at the same time, if it is that, I'm not going to filter that word out.
Yeah, and then even, I think, regardless of what people actually call it, as long as we're all fighting to stop it.
Yeah.
I mean, instead of wasting time over semantics and choosing words, if we're actually doing something about stopping it, I think that's whatever people want to call it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why also we have a divide as well in the community.
Of course.
There's a lot of people literally shitting on each other. I mean, I'm kind of I just take other people's opinions, I listen, I talk, I share, I want to help people spread their message, etc. But you have a lot of people that genuinely dislike other activists.
Yeah, of course.
And that think this person's a bad activist, this person's a good activist. So, Seb, what would you say defines a good activist?
Someone who accepts constructive criticism and just tries their best for the animals.
Yeah.
I guess, like, because there's no perfect way to do activism. Otherwise, we'd be all doing that one thing.
Yeah. I always say, if I can chirp in really quick, if there was a perfect form of activism, there would be no slaughterhouses, because we would have closed them.
It'd be effective.
It would be effective, you know.
Yeah.
It would have happened many years ago, and it would be done. There is no perfection.
Yeah. Someone who's in touch with the community is not like all like a solo thing. You know, I just think it's much better if we're all working together. Someone who supports other activists, someone who is fair and honest with what they're doing. You know, that, I don't know. It's kind of the same thing as what makes a good human, to be honest. Not much different. Yeah. But I definitely think like constructive criticism is a huge part. Also, like, definitely not someone who takes other people down, you know, for personal reasons. Like, it just doesn't help the animals, you know. So yeah, I guess that's it.
Because it's tough. It's impossible to be perfect, isn't it? Whether it be in life or in activism, because you're fighting such an uphill battle. You're literally doing what you can do.
Yeah.
And it's such an emotional battle.
And it's a new battle.
That's the thing.
Let's be honest. There's not a lot of. I mean, it's been going on for a while, but the scale that it's become in the recent years.
Yeah.
No one really knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at even, say, AV, which is one of the biggest groups right now. It's so new.
It's
and
so
everyone's
new,
learning about how to be effective.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely.
Yeah. Are you still involved with those groups as well? Or do you,
yeah. I mean, like, I work with Animal Save Movement quite closely. I help them with their videos and run their video team, co-run it with someone else. I mean, like, my thing is, to be honest, like, I do know a lot of the politics around some of these groups. Let's look at AV, for example. They've had a lot of politics surrounding them. And my honest opinion for me personally is that, like, I will still go to almost any event if I believe that I can make an impact positively for the animals at that event.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, a lot of, like, Animal Rebellion got a lot of flack, for example, for some of the things they were doing. And I was like, honestly, this is their first event for the rebellion. It's their first event ever. They're gonna make mistakes. They know that. They're pretty humble, I found. And, like, it's okay to not have, like, 100% agreements. Like, no one is gonna be 100% right. We have to embody this idea of, like, knowing that everyone is upset. We're all so deeply angered and
emotional,
frustrated and emotional and sad and, like, depressed in many ways over this stuff. And we have to, like, embody this forgiveness for other people and organizations, where we are, like, willing to let people make mistakes and then bring them in and be like, okay, like, can we be kind, please? Like, I've been called out on social media. There is no more, I know you have too, there's no more toxic thing you can do to another human being in this day and age than just make a post about someone without talking to them first. Like, literally, like, someone who I've rescued animals with this person. They made this post about how I was being, like, egotistical and all this, and I sent them like a very nice message and broke down all the reasons why I believe them to be wrong. And I said, by the way, like, I respect your activism a lot. Like, we've rescued animals together. I thought we were, like, tight. At the end, I recommended them. I was like, above all else, like, let's change the way we communicate with who should be our brothers and sisters.
Because it's becoming almost like political parties, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got the Greens, and then you've got the Conservatives and the Democrats, but then you look at the animal rights movement, you've just got different groups popping up, and you see them, like, offsetting each other. Like, what the fuck? Like, let's keep the common goal. You know, whoever you're fighting with, like, maybe it's not the same battle, but you're fighting the same war, kind of thing. Like, work together. You know, keep that in mind.
Exactly.
And it's true you mentioned the egotistical thing. It's interesting. There's people get a lot of criticism putting their face to something.
Yeah, of course.
But people like to identify to someone.
Yeah,
people like to be relatable. Like, both of you guys are relatable people. A lot of people follow you because they genuinely like you as human beings. Obviously, the work that you do as well. But if you're doing that completely out of the limelight, if you could even call it that, I don't know if it would be as effective. So I struggle to understand people who criticize those who actually put themselves out there, because you're literally putting yourself up for criticism as well, and that you're going to get. So I don't think there's really an ego issue in there. I don't think there's anyone who's doing it. You're not going to go into animal rights for fame, are you? You're not doing it for money.
Yeah.
Because is there any money in animal rights?
Yeah.
Is there?
Not much. Okay. Trust me.
Just in case, you know. Like,
do you know where I can find
just
some?
Just to find some, you know.
No,
let me know.
No, there's not.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it's just like, you look at, like, the top industry. Take any industry. any industry at all, and you look at the top person of that industry, and they're a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
Washing machines. Take the biggest washing machine company, and the dude at the top's making 6 figures, probably above. I don't know. I was just water bottles. Take the number 1 water bottle company. I bet they're making so much money, and then like people get upset for like activists having a Patreon.
Yeah.
And it's like, seriously, dude, like we've got bigger problems, man. We've got meat executives making $10 billion a year with their companies, and like we're worried about like people who like are making like money off Patreon. You know, it's like,
it's also weird because in veganism, like you can have a vegan restaurant and make money from veganism, and that's completely fine. You can write a book about veganism and make money, completely fine. You can make clothing, completely fine. Make music, make money, completely fine. Do activism and say, hey, if you want, you can donate. All of a sudden, that's an issue.
It would be great if I could pay my rent and live so that I can travel and do activism.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
And I think that's one of the things we need to normalize is this fact that we need to support activists because, okay, it's great, you know, like liking the post, it's great.
I wouldn't even say need. Like, I wouldn't even say like, I usually say like, hey, I will do my activism no matter what.
Yeah.
If you'd like to support it in a financial way, here's a link. That's all that I say, you know. If you don't want to, that's completely fine. It's not gonna make me not do activism.
No, of course not. Yeah.
But if you do go to a vegan restaurant and say, can I get the food without the money? It's a no. You go to a vegan bookstore, can I get the book without the money? It's a no. Activism is not really like the same as running a business. So like I will do no matter what. If you want to help out with the cost, that would be amazing. You know, for example, thanks to the patrons I have, I don't have to think twice about rescuing Lola. I don't have to think twice that if he starts acting weird, I can just drive him to the vet. Why? Because I have a source of income from Patreon that I can use to take care of Lola. We weren't very sure if he would be safe around here. That's completely fine. I went and spent $60 buying material to make a nice little shed for him.
Really
I don't have to think about these things, you know? And that's nice. That's really nice. And that's not my personal thing. I did it with for me, it's a team. I'm not like just like one person doing activism, because I wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for those who were supporting me. Yeah. So it's completely different, and I don't see why people would like. What do we want? All full-time activists to go back to 9-to-5 jobs? You know, if I was doing that, I'd never be able to do like 33 university talks. You know, and if no one was doing that, then no one would be able to do those university talks.
Yeah, I mean, if you think that. It's something I've talked about quite a lot. How willing we are to spend like $6-7 on a cup of coffee, and that when it comes to contributing to content or donating to whatever it may be,
like $1 a month.
Yeah, like $1 a month to charity, or we're not willing to do that.
Yeah.
But we'll pay $10 for subscription to like Apple Music, $10 to Spotify, $10 to Deezer, another $10 for God knows, Netflix. And you're already spending like $60. Like if you remove one of them and divide that or give it to one cause.
I don't usually share personal things like this, but I will. I did have one person who had done a few one-time donations through my PayPal. They told me that they're gonna make a pledge on Patreon, and I literally said like, you don't have to, you've donated like enough. And they said, I had 3 gym subscriptions, I'm gonna cancel one of them, that's $50. You know?
Yeah. Why do you need 3?
And I was like,
they one for each bicep, and then I guess one leg.
No, but it's like, think about it. I was like, fair enough. Now I'm not gonna say don't do it. You know? But like, and then they did that for a certain amount of months. They were like able to support me for $50 a month, and I'm really, really grateful to that. So yeah, it does make sense. I hadn't really thought about like all the monthly things that we pay all the time.
So whoever's listening to this, look at your monthly subscriptions in your Apple store, on your internet. Remove one of them and support a good cause, whatever it may be.
Yeah. I do want to say one thing. One of the best places you can put your money is sanctuaries.
I thought you were going to say Planet Vegan on Patreon.
Planet Vegan on Patreon for sure, but honestly, I would put it into a sanctuary even before that. Because I do believe we will, like, I have found money where I needed to, because like new people find out about the project and they're like, how can I help? You know, like people who have money. If you don't have a lot of money and you already enjoy your Netflix a lot, but you can give $5, I would honestly say, like, before giving it to me, like, try and find a local sanctuary, because like they are the ones who like have rescued animals, and like Planet Vegan honestly will find money if it needs to, because people are coming into the project. Yeah. So I also hope that happens for sanctuaries too, but I just feel like I don't know, sanctuaries need a lot of help. It's sad seeing sanctuaries like kind of struggle. It's really
Yeah.
It's sad seeing activists struggle too, though. You know, like that's true.
I actually had one patron delete his pledge, and when you delete the pledge, you can leave a message as well. And he wrote, "Hey man, I really support everything you do, but I decided to support only sanctuaries." And I was like, "Of course, like." In sanctuaries, you have directly like animal lives that depend on donations, so it's extremely important. And I was like, of course, man. That, like you don't even have to explain.
You're not gonna be like, no.
Well, that's the thing. Dropping someone on Patreon can be super awkward.
Yeah.
Because I've had like a couple people like lower theirs from like $15 to $1, and they always say something like, "Hey, just want to let you know I'm like struggling this month." I'm like, "It's okay, like that's okay." Like I couldn't, because my Patreon's not very big, so I couldn't survive off Patreon money anyway, so I find things other ways, and I live off savings, and so like I'm fine. Like my Patreon is like, it doesn't even go to my bank account, it goes to Planet Vegan, so it doesn't matter. But like, you know, for example, each episode costs like 10 grand, so it's like, if not more, actually, it's gonna be more than by the end. Like as a summary, it'll be probably 13,000 or 14,000 per episode. So like the $100 a month that goes into the bank account from Patreon is, you know, is not quite enough to fund one episode. But it's like, you know, but it's also so supported because like now I can like get new memory cards if I need them or something, or lens breaks, and
it's also more than that. Like personally, one thing that really makes me feel good is when I get an email that said X pledged $1.
Dude, me too.
It's like
it's one of the best
it
feelings.
It hits because for me it means this. It means I don't have a lot of money, but I'm gonna give you $1 a month. Yeah. It's so much more than that $1. It really, I don't know, it feels really good, but also it's because you know that someone who gives $1 could stay as a patron much longer than someone who's gonna pledge $100, for example. Because fair enough, it could be a lot of money if you don't, like, if you're a middle class, like maybe if it's your upper class, it's not gonna change that much. But if you're middle class, $100 a month, it's like it could be something you feel on your bank account.
Always, if you get those like higher patrons, you almost like feel bad in a way.
Yeah.
Like, I hope they can afford this.
Yeah.
You know, because
that
like,
accountability comes in.
And it's also very normal for them to delete the pledge much faster, and fair enough, you know. Yeah. But when it's a $1 pledge, you know, like they're here to support you, and it means a lot. Like I really appreciate.
And I think
that.
It's powerful, a $1 pledge, because it is literally close to nothing for most people to put $1. But the fact of taking the action,
exactly,
the action
that's why I say like it means so much. Like and it's also like it gives this collective feeling. Like if I get 100 people giving $1 a month, that's $100 a month.
Think about it. It's like social media. Like, you know, one person like makes kind of a small difference, but when everyone comes together, you can create like I know like people have done like fundraisers. We're doing a fundraiser in a couple of days for like these kittens that were rescued while we were here, and like social media enables you to get 100 people like to all give $1, and you've got $100, you know, to put towards kittens. Like crowdfunding was you were with me during the crowdfunding campaign in Australia. A couple things came through, and like a couple people shared the trailer here and there, and like we raised $30,000, man. That's so much money. Like $30,000 can like it helped build Planet Vegan, and like that enabled me to not have to like put so much of my own money into it anymore. Like that saved me. Like that let me breathe, you know. Like, and like that was a huge deal. The crowdfunding campaign raised 20, and then someone donated an extra 10, and like, dude, like that's like that. You know, and the thing is people don't really understand like how expensive it is. Filming the series was almost nothing. It really was. It was like I filmed the whole thing for maybe like 10 grand or something, like almost nothing. Wow. That travel, everything, because I was one person, and because I have taken $0 from this whole thing. If I took a salary, then you know, whatever, it'd be much more. But I
year's worth of a salary.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't take money from this. But once I start like putting people into the team, I have to pay them. They have to eat. And so then we had like, you know, like for the first 2 episodes, we had like a 4 or 5 person team. And they're all, you know, making a salary per month, and then it's like, But then I had this like money to fall back on, and it's like, dude.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy to think about it, like how many people you can reach with social media. And
it's crazy.
Let's say like let's say half of your followers put $1.
Yeah.
Imagine like how much of an impact you could have with that money. You know? And like
course.
that $1.
Yeah.
$1. Like everyone who's listening, just think what you can do with $1 in your hand, or what you can do.
This feels weird because it's just been like a 5-minute long Patreon ad now.
That's true.
We've just been talking about Patreon,
Well, it's more
and now
about-
we're like, hey everyone, give us $1. I promise we did not like talk about this before. This came
wasn't-
up organically.
No, but I think it's an important thing to talk about.
Yeah,
like
yeah, for
activating that in people to think,
Yeah.
actually, I can give $1
Yeah.
to a good cause. I'm not saying necessarily give it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't give it to me anyway, but for you to
Anyone
to
or any
sanctuary,
organization or
Yeah,
any
absolutely,
sanctuary.
absolutely.
of
Yeah.
how easy, and especially today with the internet, how easy it is to sign up to these things.
Yeah, that's true.
And I
If you look
think
at
one
your
really
email-
cool thing you can do is like I give whatever $20 a month or something like that to 20 different or whatever 15 different like people and organizations and sanctuaries and everything, and that can make like a huge difference because like again, it's that power of the collective where like sure I'm only giving $1 to like this person and that organization and things like that, but then 10,000 people do that and like all of a sudden you're getting enough money where you can do huge things. And like that's one thing is like we have to stop looking at money as this evil capitalistic thing and start looking at it as a tool. There's a really good book actually called The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic book, and it's all about like I remember reading this at a time in my life where I was starting to like earn more money, and like I was working like not like a corporate job, but I was a photographer in Hawaii, and like I became kind of obsessed with money. Like it was really not a good thing. Like I was like going out and getting like fancy drinks once a week, and like I was still living like a college kid, but I also like started getting like more interested in like owning things, and like that's such a if I think about that now compared to how I live now, it's so strange. But like I got really like almost obsessed with that, and so I ended up reading this book, and it was like you can use your own money, and that's when I started donating so much like my money. I would donate I would donate like a percentage of every paycheck or whatever. I was sometimes 5, 10, 1, whatever it was, however big the paycheck was because it was on commission. Anyway, but I would donate that, and like it felt so good, and I realized I was making a change because I could, and like so the people that like can like money donating, man, is such a powerful thing within society, and like everyone should pick a cause, in my opinion, if they can. Everyone should pick a cause they believe in and like support that cause in some way, because most people do work 9 to 5s, and so most people don't have time to be full-time activists or run an organization or develop a plant-based burger, but they do have $5, so it's a really, really cool thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a huge impact that we can have with that, and I think it's changing, and everyone is starting to realize that you can have an impact. If you look at it just from a vegan perspective, like what difference can one vegan make?
Yeah.
Like for example, when you two went vegan, like you were one person, but then you look at the work that you're doing now and the impact that it's had and how that's spreading, and how you've impacted other people's lives and other people have become vegan, and then you get that ripple effect, and it becomes something huge.
Yeah,
that's
actually,
changing.
When I was in Belgium, I gave a talk at a university, and the person who helped organize the talk, she just messaged me like 2 weeks ago saying, I'm giving talks on veganism now.
No way.
Yeah. So it's really amazing. Like our people from the schools or universities in Portugal reach out, like, guess what, like my parents went vegan, or like my friend went vegan. In Germany there was one school where I gave a talk, and this was actually one of the most like what do you call it, emotional moments I've had this year. I think you were next to me in Ireland. We were in a workshop, and I got an email from PayPal saying I received an amount of donation. And when you do a donation on PayPal, you can also leave a note. And the note said, so 2 students in a school, they're like 16 or 17 year old, organized a talk for me to give to 200 students in the school, and about veganism. So one of them, it was her birthday, and basically the whole class gathered money, they bought her a gift, and then as a class they decided to donate the rest of the money of the gift in her name to my activism, because they all believed that what I was doing was good for the animals, and they cared about the animals. And 4 of the classmates had gone vegan, and the whole class had changed like their consumption, like they had reduced their consumption. And to see I literally teared up, like I couldn't believe it. I mean, for me, I couldn't understand, like months later, literally months later, a class decision was made to donate money they had gathered together. I'm not talking about money like that their parents gave to them. Like, I mean, obviously it came from their parents, but like from their own pocket money, they were like, they said that yes, it makes sense that we donate this
Months later, they were still thinking about it.
to vegan activism.
And you've done so many talks since then. You've done so much, and you weren't
exactly
thinking about that.
exactly. And to read that, and then she ended the message like, by the way, 4 of the classmates have gone vegan, and the rest have reduced their consumption. And obviously, like I prefer they all go vegan, but like you can't always go all the way.
You're not going to reply like that's not good enough.
Yeah.
Imagine. Like, that's not enough. I want more.
Or
decline.
just 4.
Decline the donation. Decline the donations. No, it's
so
really amazing. Like it's literally like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
It's really great. And the school had said like, if you want to come back next year, let us know.
So to wrap this up, I've got a question for each of you that I haven't thought of yet.
Okay.
All right.
So Seb, there's someone listening. They're vegan. They want to get active. They want to become, not say a full-time activist, but at least start on the weekends through social media, whatever. What would you say to them?
So I would, first of all, I definitely say like check what you're good in and what you're comfortable with doing. Like don't compare to what other activists do. Don't compare to what they're capable to do or what they have time to do. Check what you're good at and just go all in. Fail if you have to fail. That's completely fine. You know, you can always learn and grow. Like I watch some of my old videos now and I'm like, what am I saying? You know, like of course they didn't go vegan. That's because I said this, you know, and that's okay. Like we're not all perfect. We don't have like a magic wand to make people go vegan. So don't like hold yourself back. Definitely don't sit and wait to like for an inspiration to do something. Just put yourself out there, and the motivation will come just from what you know is happening to the animals. So if you're comfortable just doing YouTube videos, do that. If you want to do street activism, do that. If you want to make food for your colleagues that aren't vegan to normalize veganism, do that. That's completely fine. Vegan activist doesn't necessarily mean being on the street. It can be anything from corporate activism to street activism to entering slaughterhouses and farms. It could be talking to your families or friends, and we all have like different ways, because animal agriculture is such a big industry that we need all these different aspects of activism to attack the industry from literally all angles. So if one specific type is what calls you, go for it and don't hold yourself back. Like just give your best, always give a clear vegan message, be unapologetic. If you get bullied, ignore it, be strong. Keep in mind that you have millions of people that support you. We are a huge community around the world. You're definitely not alone. And yeah, I think that's all you need to have as like something to keep in mind, that this isn't just like some random diet choice that we're making. It's like a cause of justice, and go all in and do your best to help the animals.
Awesome. And James?
I would prefer not to have to follow that up.
How can someone tan their thighs? No.
Easy. Let me show you.
No, let's say there's someone sitting out there, they're meditating or just daydreaming or watching Netflix, and they've got an idea. Idea that they think, fuck, this could be amazing. And they want to make it happen. What would you say to them? And they've got no idea how to do it, by the way, like you didn't.
Yeah. So if I honestly, I've been someone, and I like learned this when I like just got out of college. Like I just got out of college and ended up taking have you heard of Craigslist?
Yeah.
I took a job off of Craigslist that literally said photographer needed in Hawaii, and I'd like barely shot photos or anything like that, and I took it and I was in Hawaii 3 days later, and like it was a huge risk, but like, and it was super scary and like all these things, and I had no money, but whatever. I went out there, and that's kind of what changed my entire life, or like was like a big process of that, because it gave me experience with the camera and all those things. I would say if you have an idea and you truly believe that it is what you want to do, absolutely go for it. You will figure it out along the way. You're gonna screw up so many things and so many times, and you're gonna make mistakes, but like you will end up shaping a better life for yourself, and most importantly a better life for others, because of that one risk that you took and made. I think if we were to look into the animal rights community and just like look at all of the amazing ideas that never happened, and if we were to be able to build those up together somehow, hypothetically, and look at the impact they could have made, it would be huge. Think about all the documentary ideas that don't happen, and all of the songs that are never written, and all these things, because people think they're not good enough, they're afraid, it's too much money, it's too much effort, I don't want to quit my job, I'm afraid of, traveling, I'm an introvert. All of these things, they're just ideas. they don't actually exist. You can push past those and you can find a path that will lead you to creating a better world for everybody. And so I think that what we can do is we can call out to other people for advice. That's a big thing. I ask so many times other people for advice, and there are these channels. If you put this passion out into the world, I really do believe that people will come towards you like a freaking magnet. They will. The people I have met, the places I've been, none of this would have happened if I hadn't just had this idea. And that's just the first part. You have a great idea, fantastic, cool, but it means nothing. Literally nothing. A good idea is worthless if you don't follow up on it and make it happen. So that is the big thing, is push past all of those barriers that are telling you not to do it. Everything in your body, everything in your life, your parents, all these things they might be telling you, at least, just to maybe be safe. Keep your day job, at least, do this on the weekends. And you can do that too. But I honestly think step into it full force, head on, and just keep grounded and keep your vision, straight, and just keep your head down and just move towards your goals. Because I really do think we can all do these things that we want to do, especially if they're towards animal liberation. Not only should we be doing them, but I think we have a moral obligation to work harder and really trust that this is what we're here for, in a way. I think is a big thing. I have a lot of faith in what we're all doing. I really do. I believe it is the right thing to do, and that's why when I'm in outreach, I am unapologetic, because I know for a fact, no matter what you tell me about methane release or what percentage it is, or actually what the UN says, I know for a fact that animals are screaming when their throats are slit. I've seen it, I've been there, and I know for a fact that I want to spend personally every day of my life in whatever capacity I can fighting against that. And I know there's so many people that also want to do that thing, and they can do it, So just Nike, just do it. This entire podcast sponsored
Thank you
by
for
Nike.
coming to my TED Talk.
I think you did a pretty good job of following up on Seb there. So, and I can't believe you ended it with Nike though.
Oh yeah, sorry, I'm just kidding. I don't support Nike at all. I haven't bought new shoes in 6 years, so
yeah,
take that, Nike.
We're all barefoot anyway, so that's fine. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining me. Once again, I was joined today by James Hoot. You can follow on Instagram, James a Hoot. I won't mention YouTube, because there's nothing on there.
It's non-existent.
Because it's not existent.
They'll be very disappointed. Actually, if they go on, there's the one song. They can watch the music video for the song.
Oh, that's on YouTube?
That's the only thing.
Okay, yeah, so do
if they
check
search
out
Planet Vegan, the music video.
Or you just listen to the end of this podcast
There
and you'll hear it anyway.
Yeah, and you'll hear it.
So there you
great,
go.
Great.
Even better. And obviously by Seb Alex, Seb.Alex on Instagram, and Seb Alex on YouTube.
Yep.
And check out Vegan News. Is he going to appear again in Vegan News? Or
Maybe.
are you going to cut him out?
He'll
think about it. He's still thinking. I'm really hoping so. But
Alright, thanks guys. There'll be links to all that down below. Guys, thanks for joining me. Have a lovely day. Tune in next week for another episode of the Planco podcast. No idea where I'll be, who I'll be with. I'm sure it'll be very random and very entertaining. Thanks.
Thanks everyone.
Cheers.
That's the year that they're saying's our last, unless we make a change now when we gotta be fast. But first we gotta make a shift in what we put in our mouths. These silly billies thinking vegans eating grass on the ground. We talking fast food, yo, it's burgers and fries. And it used to hurt the earth and the birds in the sky, but now they making it with plants, and it's so much better, cause the animals are safe. No more changes in the weather. We better act fast, cause the ice barely freezing. The world's changing quick, so welcome to Planet Vegan. Woo! Damn man, can you feel that? This place is getting hot. If we wanna save the world, it'll take some work. If you wanna make it better, then take off your shirt, wave it round your head, and jump into the streets. The revolution starts now. Can you feel its heartbeat? If we wanna save the world, man, we better be quick, cause we're killing all the piggies and the cows and the chicks. And I gotta be honest, I ain't a fan of our fate, but we can make a change now, and it starts on our plates. All around the world, it's a brand new dance. What you're making out of bodies, yeah, we're making out of plants. We gotta save the pigs and the fishes in the sea, so hold on to your pants, Planet Vegan soon to be. There's a change up in the system, I can feel it in the air, but it benefits us all, there's no need to be scared. We're gonna change the world and we'll do it in a day, so don't fight the future, Planet Vegan's here to stay. If we wanna save the world, it'll take some work. If you wanna make it better, then take off your shirt, wave it round your head, and jump into the streets. The revolution starts now. Can you feel its heartbeat? If we wanna save the world, man, we better be quick, cause we're killing all the piggies and the cows and the chicks. And I gotta be honest, I ain't a fan of our fate, but we can make a change now, and it starts on our plates.
Massive forest fires have once again decimated the Californian coastline.
Iceland just held a funeral for the first glacier ever lost in the country's history due to warming weather patterns.
Europe was just hit with the hottest temperatures in recorded history.
Thousands of people are already already dying every year from climate change related issues, and this number is expected to rise exponentially over the coming decades.
Okay, this apocalyptic nightmare's about to be real. Forest fires, oceans flooding, let it fill you with fear. A billion refugees running across the borders in pain, and they're drowning while you're saying you're refusing to change. Slaughterhouses filled with bodies and they're letting out screams, but you're saying it's a lie, that it's only a dream. Let me tell you something, man, the nightmare is real, and you're paying for it daily with your supersized meal.